pretty even match tonight. What did you think about your opportunities?
It's a game against Kentucky, right? Like I think I said to the players, and we made it clear, and I don't think we underestimated them. Don't be fooled by their record. They have the number one strength of schedule so far this season. They've conceded a 2-goal lead twice. They could very, very easily be a top 25 team right now, and you'd probably look at that and go, okay, like you've shaded it, I think. But yeah, we knew it was going to be difficult. They're a very, very athletic team, very physical, very athletic team, and they made it hard. They played a back five, and yeah, they made it hard for us today. But I thought the first half was really good, and I just think we need to show a little bit more emotional intelligence to still play with the same style in the second half. I think we were just a bit quick to get the ball forward, and the game became too transitional, and that works against us. Excuse me. The game gets stretched and our back three gets tired in the build. Our attacking players get tired, and we actually kind of create our own problems for ourselves. And in the first half, we showed with a lot of control and a lot more of a progression to the play that we could get into advanced areas and still cause them problems. So we have to learn from that. I think I said to the players, right? We're 8 games in. It's still early. Like, what have we learned about ourselves? How do we make sure we come out in the second half and we're not flat? Too many teams have shaded the start of the first half when we've looked so incredibly dominant in the first. And then how do we not feel like we get desperate and chase the game a little bit in the second half when we have shown what works in the first? So we've got to look at that and analyze that a little bit and try and improve.
Did fatigue play a role in the second half? I mean, I know you had to make subs because of Carlos, but you also made a couple of other subs. Like, was that what motivated that?
Yeah, but like I said, part of that self-inflicted, right? Part of that self-inflicted because of the lack of control we showed in the second half in the way that we built the game and the way we progressed the game, because the game goes, the ball goes forward too quickly, and now you've got to make up 40 yards of space, 50 yards of space that we weren't having to do it at that level of intensity in the first half. So it's a tricky one because we were so dangerous in transition last year, and we still have a lot of tools this year that make us very, very dangerous in transition again. The downside being if you're not successful, you got to go all the way back as well, right? You've then created space for your opponent too. And again, with an athletic team and an athletic opponent, that makes a lot of high intensity running. And as I said, we kind of fell into the trap of making it harder for ourselves in terms of the way we managed our energy.
What is the status on Carlos, and what did you think of XLE pinch hitting there?
Yeah, I mean, it showcases that everyone needs to be ready, and XLE played a few games at the start of the season and has had to wait, and all of a sudden there can be an opportunity. So Carlos doesn't maybe look as bad as we were concerned when he came off. We'll see. I'm sure it will swell up. I'm sure there'll be some bruising. So perhaps Tuesday will come too soon for him, but hopefully it's nothing more than a contusion and a bruise.
Sergio's hand limiting him at all right now?
No, but again, I think the way that we're playing in the second half is limiting him in the sense that his energy levels are getting depleted, and his effectiveness and his technical competency in the last 10 minutes of the game isn't as fluent and as clean, perhaps as it is at the start of the game, and we have to take responsibility for that in the style and the adjustment and the borderline desperation that we're playing with to try and win the game. It's a tricky one, right? Because it's commendable because we're trying to win, and we're really intent on trying to win, but I think it's created a little bit of a deficit in the style of play.
Did wind play a factor at all in the first half? It was just kind of swirling down there.
We hoped, our expert weatherman on the sideline anticipated the wind would be stronger in the first half than the second, so it was an important toss to win. But again, I don't know, with less wind in the second half, it didn't play as big of a role, and we still would have had the capacity to play the game in the way that we did in the first. So from my perspective of how we control the game, I don't think it can be considered an excuse in the second half.
I think this game resembled a lot of the Sun Belt fixtures that we saw last year. I mean, is this just how it's going to be in the conference again this year?
Yeah. Georgia Southern's a top 25 RPI game right now. Again, I hope Old Dominion do that every time they play, because that was a hostile environment that we faced last week, and obviously got away with a win. Look, like with what Kentucky has been, you never expect it to be an easy game. They're the number one team in the country, the seeded number one team going into the NCAA tournament in 2022. So you know you're going to get a tough challenge. That's just the nature of our conference. We're undefeated. We have a win and we have a tie. It's not the worst way to start things, and I think you'll see plenty of closely contested games. I don't think anyone's going to run away with it this year.
What can you say about the fans turning out sellout crowd. What can you say? What does it do for your program?
They must have had the same weather forecast I did, right? Because we were worried because obviously there was a chance of rain and we were hopeful it was obviously going to come early in the day. But incredible between the Maniacs and everyone we had here. When you start to see it spilling out the sides, and at that point you're sold out. Incredible crowd, obviously. Again, as helpful as they are, and they're cheering us on and leaning us on, we have to control our emotion that we don't fall for that bait and get too direct and too linear in the way that we play. Because everyone wanted to win that game for them and see them all out here again against UCF. I hope they enjoyed themselves, and I hope they do come out again for us at UCF. Incredible atmosphere and the types of night that these guys will remember for both teams.
Marcus made every save asked of him tonight. What do you have to say about how he's played so far in conference play?
Yeah, a little bit busier tonight. So we knew those days were coming as well. So I think he made a tidy save down to his right in the second half quite early on. Obviously there's one off the post, but to be fair, like the relatively speculative efforts in terms of the distance that they're out. So that's his strength. That's his best quality, is his shot stopping capacity. He's long, he's rangy, he's very athletic. So happy he's in our goal when we're facing those types of efforts and those shots. All right, thanks guys.